Hello and welcome, this is Roofmonger, and today we have a tips and tricks guide for the Monster Hunter in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So in this video we're going to go over all of her special moves, her target attacks and all that, some neat little tidbits and tricks for her, including a neat little corner reset setup, and some other nicks and knacks. So without any further ado, let's go into it. Now first, she has 4 separate command normals, so let's go over them in sequential order here. So the first one, Circle Slash, that's forward and light punch. It's very similar looking to just a regular light punch. However, this move is an overhead. You sadly cannot chain. If you can hear my buttons, I'm just like basically mashing afterwards and nothing's going to come out. You can enter a special move afterwards, but a super move rather, sorry. But other than that, you either have to rely on going for a super right away or tagging your partner because she has no direct follow-up kind afterwards. And the next one here, the overhead slash, despite the name, is not an overhead. So that's forward fierce punch, and honestly, since it's not an overhead, I don't really know the use. So like all heavy sword attacks, it is armored. So that has, at least that going for it. But if you're going to try to eat up space, I'd definitely go for one of her special moves that eat up more space and also are armored on top of that. Now, the lunging strike, that's forward and fierce kick. That's not too much use on its own, although it does move forward fairly decently, so that's not the worst thing in the world. But it's great for combos to get lateral space going on, so it can really help carry corner to corner, as most of her combos will carry corner to corner, and that's a tool I use in the main B&B, and that really helps out just getting that space you need to bring forward to the corner in the combo. And the final one, perhaps essentially the most useful of the target combos anyways, is down and heavy kick in the air, and she shoots her giant oversized bow that shoots spears. Now if you're going to use this as a keep away tool, I do suggest that you should do it on the rise of your jump motion, just so you can kind of get it as quick as you can here. It's got good range. If you do as fast as possible, it can go roughly 75% of the screen, and the projectile will travel all the way down if you do it as like a hyper jump backwards or something like that. See here, that way you can hit it from full screen. And it hits at a decent angle. It's not an angle she can cover normally in the air, because in the air normally her gameplay is just kind of go caveman simple and just kind of do this over and over and hope you get a hit. But other than that, it's a good bit of space control, and if you're not sure what your game plan is for like a second or two, it's not the worst thing in the world just to super jump back and shoot an arrow and kind of collect your thoughts from that point forward. Now, going on from the command normals to the special moves, talk about Draw Slash here. It may not be her best move, but it's certainly her signature move. Now, the light punch one isn't much, so once again, just like all sword normals and specials, it is armored. And if you're going to use it in a combo, the best use is like you do whatever in your combo, sweep, uppercut, and you can always get that into a command dash, just so you know. But the heavy punch version is definitely where the fun begins. So it breaks the normal armor rule conventions in the game. So normally armor is light punches, or light attacks in general, and projectiles, and heavy attacks will win out. So if we do the light punch one again, so we're going to have the bot hit the foe back while they're doing it. And you see here, heavy punch one clean. So for the heavy punch version of the sword swing, heavy punches can't win. It armors through them. Clean to rights, dead to rights. So one thing about that is that, so it also has infinite armor, so if we do it, and say we do something like this, ain't stopping it. Excellent. Now one thing to note, and I actually didn't know this initially, I was told this, maybe if you play Monster Hunter games it's more obvious, but to me it wasn't. So when you hold it here, you can see that little flash. Now I'm just going to turn the damage on just so you can see. So that moved at 1600 points of damage normally. So light one does only like 100 less. Now, if you were to let go of heavy punch right when that flash happens, so I let go a little bit early there, that's my mistake, let's try it one more time. And there, I was a bit too slow, so bear with me one final time. There we go. So you see here, that's 3000 damage. That's insanely better. It also causes a big spike down, as you can see there, for the foe. So there is a bit of a timing element to this. Thankfully, the netcode generally is good enough, so if you know the timing, it ain't going to screw you over. And one thing to note too, you really can't combo off it solo. mid-screen because it'll move the foe too far away. So let's just switch our positions.
Fight.
So say we do it here. You see that spin out, we're not following that up. But if you do manage to corner the foe, you can get a follow-up. Now, depending on your partner, you can do it, let go, tag, and depending on your partner, you can probably get a follow-up. Just solo, it's difficult outside the corner. And one thing to note, if you keep just, say, mashing the button, she will keep repeating the chain, as you can see here. I'm just smashing Fierce Punch. So at any point afterwards, the chain starts, you can also just hold down at Fierce Punch, and you will do your launcher afterwards. So you can get, say, 3 hits in here. So 1, 2, now I'm holding down, and I get my uppercut. So you can see there, that's how that works. So once again, like I said, maybe not her best move, but certainly is a signature facet, and you can really kind of make people think twice about rushing in, because once she's in it, the only way to stop her from completing her slash is to dash in and throw her. So if you're not willing to do that, or if you're not on the ball enough to do that, you better start blocking. Now, next up is to mention the dodge. So, like most characters, she obviously has a dash, but she also has a command dash here with both kicks. So what makes this work? You know, besides the fact that it actually covers quite a bit more ground than a regular dash, as you can see here, and since it covers more space, her wave dash is, well, frankly garbage. There's really no nicest way to say it, but she gets no distance. You're just better off just doing dash by itself, or even better yet, doing the command dash. So any one of her special moves, as here I'm just going to do one, you can cancel it into the command dash. So it doesn't really matter what it is, you can do it. So that helps her mobility, obviously. If you put any amount of time into her, you can tell she's a very, very slow character. So this helps her get some of that mobility back. Doesn't really matter what you do, you can cancel ending recovery of any special move into that command dash. Sometimes you want to do it backwards to gain space. In the case of, say, like I mentioned here, combo like this, we can use that to help end the recovery and get a better combo from there. So it is affected by demon mode, and I'll talk about that more in a little bit. In demon mode, if you do have it on, and we're just going to turn on here for a second, and we'll have to use this super move to do it. So while you have demon mode on, the move is now able to cross up and through your foe. So even just something silly like that, and then, you know, what side am I on, that kind of silly mix-ups. So it is a key part of our mobility. You know, it's not very fun or sexy or cool by itself, but it is absolutely a core part of her gameplay. So the Demon Flurry is absolutely one of her better special moves because it has a multitude of uses. So even say, like, you know, something as basic as combo fodder, you know, sure, it has its place for that. Has good screen carry. That's great. Has aerial versions as well. The arcs are different depending on the buttons. So it's great combo fodder. It's good spacing. At the very least, it can keep you in the air if you want to hit the ground for some reason. It's really good just to do it, and then you can tag out and, you know, get some spacing, you know, get some pressure off you. And one of the other things about it is specifically the light punch version, it is instant air okay. So let's just turn on our attack data. So if you were to tiger knee it, and if you're not familiar with the term, so the move is quarter circle back. Oh, we got the wrong one turned on here. Actually, let's keep both on. That'll help illuminate this. So quarter circle back, as you can see my inputs here. And you want to do the aerial version, which goes downwards. Now, if you look at the attack type there, the very first hit says middle, which means it's an overhead. It has to be blocked standing. So if we use the tiger knee tactic, which what we're going to do here is we're going to do that quarter circle back motion, and then we're going to just keep going upwards, as you can see here. So partway through that, want to hit it right away. You see here, we're doing the aerial version like 1 millimeter off the ground. So you're getting that overhead attack, very, very, very low to the ground. And from that point, if you do it correctly, you see that is a natural combo here. So we can just combo from that. That's great. And say you don't even want to do that. Say you don't know for sure if it's going to hit, or you don't want to risk it getting blocked. So you can just do it raw. And let's try it again. So it is a bit tricky here. You see, I can't get it every time. You got to practice it yourself. Oh, there we go. Chaos Theory in action. And you can tag your partner. And then if your partner is more mix-up capable, you know, go high-low, or maybe just like tap and wait and do command throw if you have a command throw. There's all sorts of mix-up options while they're sitting there having to block your attack. So I do have a little mix-up using that from naturally occurring from a combo, which I'm going to go to later in the video. But yeah, it's great combo fodder. It's great just for aerial control. You can even get it from, like, say you're just going for like jump fierce punch. You can combo right into it from there and get a combo from there as well. It has a multitude of uses and thus is one of her most useful moves. Now, to speak on her bow and arrow moves, so they are just quarter circle forward and either of the two kicks. So light kick has a straight arc, and you see here it's a bit of a parabolic arc for the heavy kick version. So that will come in at an angle. So you can hold both of them, but just before going into any more detail, the heavy kick version, as you see here, we're full screen. If you just kind of tap it, the release explosion will come sort of mid-screen, you see here. And if we were to hold it, it'll now release full screen. Now, keep in mind, so I'll never remember this. So you see, you can absolutely like kind of overshoot it. However, if you are in the corner, no matter how close or how far you are, see, I'm just going to do it right in your face. The projectiles can't go any further in the corner. So they will always release the explosion drops in the corner. So it's absolutely at its best use in the corner because, you know, at that point your spacing no longer really matters. So that is a great tool to use and abuse against the enemy. Now that said, to speak on it, so the light kick version also can be held. Now instead of changing distance like the heavy kick version, it just shoots more projectiles. So it covers a wider arc and obviously does more damage. And one thing to mention about the light kick version is that the durability on it is absolutely ridiculous. Like, so it cleanly beats just about everything. Like,
target applied. Here's the big one.
as you see here, like, it is really just that silly. The durability is just through the roof. It basically beats every projectile I've tested against anyways clean, no matter what. So if you're looking to get in a fireball war mood, that bow and arrow will serve you very, very well, because I have not yet met the move that can beat it. I'm sure there is somewhere. I haven't tested against everything, but it is just utterly devastating against other projectiles. You know, if you want to put like a simple baby reality stone against it, just it acts like it's not even there. It just deletes it and goes all the way through. And obviously, you know, you hold it for more arrows, all the more damage from that. So you cannot do these in the air. So if you want the aerial arrow, remember you will have to hit that down and heavy kick, because that's the only way to get any aerial offense off that. But yeah, between this and once again, especially in the corner, it's fantastic, and it is great in the corner and for combo senses too, because if you do that and then hit the companion arrow super, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a second here. Like here, I can shoot another one, and so you'll get one arrow, the super, and you can do another one, and then get a follow-up after that. So that's a lot of, basically, I'm not sure what they are. I'm not a Monster Hunter player, unfortunately, although I am interested in the new game now. But I don't know what this is. I'm just going to call this a lot of garbage falling on their heads. Now, to speak on her supers, first up we have the Stampede, and it's probably her overall most useful level 1. So if you're not aware, that's the fireball motion 2 punches here, and she does the big old sword swing. And if she connects, you know, goes into a little cinematic where she just kind of slaps her on that giant sword. So on itself, it's actually a very fast startup. Like the time from activation to hit is actually quite quick. It is an invincible move. So you see here, like, let's do it a little bit closer. So right here, it'll connect, you know, from there. So if you feel any amount of pressure by a fast character or something like that, you can absolutely, if you have a bar to burn, you know, just toss it out. The worst thing that can happen is get blocked, you know, as long as your partner is not dead, you can just tag after the block and just do your merry business from there. So it's also her most damaging level 1 super, so it is, you know, good for combos, but one fair bit of warning here. You might not want to always end your combo in it, so, you know, her combos generally bring you corner to corner, and that's generally fantastic. You know, that's what you're looking for. You definitely want to corner your foe. But say we do, I don't know, something super basic. It doesn't even really matter. I'm just going to do it here in the corner. Now, pay attention here after the move ends. See, we're no longer in the corner. You know, we got a little bit here. It basically brings you back to round 1 fight, the start middle position. So it does do more damage, and if you're only looking to spend 1 bar, it's usually the most damage you're gonna get. However, please keep in mind here, it will reset your position in mid-screen, so you won't keep the foe cornered after you get them into the corner. So if you're just looking for damage, you know, maybe that's not a big deal, but sometimes you don't want to give up your corner. And that's where we're going to segue to our next move, which is the Demon Dance, which is backwards, quarter circle backwards motion and both punches. So this will keep your foe in the corner, say if you're going to end your combo with it. It does do less damage, unfortunately. But one thing here, it brings you into the Demon Stance. You see here, she has that little bar under her super here, if you can see it. So that mode means several things. I actually have a companion video over this, and I'll link it at the end of this video. But long story short, she does a bit more damage, and some of her moves gain new properties. And one thing I was very remiss in mentioning in the initial video, the Charged Sword Slash charges a bit faster in the demon mode, so keep that in mind. Now, one thing about it, and I'm not sure, this is more a little tidbit than anything else, honestly, but if you hit with any of her sword attacks, the bar drain very briefly stops. So just have a look here at the bar draining. And see here, every time the sword hits, it just very, very, very briefly stops. So like in the end, it doesn't really mean anything, but I wasn't aware of that initially. So, you know, just a little thing to keep in mind, that the more sword attacks you use, you'll briefly be able to stay in the combo a bit longer. And also, she does have an aerial version. See here, same move, although she will travel forward instead of staying in place like the ground version. So we mentioned about using the instant air before for that instant overhead. So you can kind of do the same deal here. And if you just want out, you can just tag your partner, and she's going to force them to stay blocking, and you can do your high-low mix-ups, whatever have you, and she'll be basically covering the screen with her body. So she does have a bow super, just like her bow special here. It arcs upwards. And once again, just like regular bow, in the corner, can't go any further. So it will hit in the corner no matter what, if they are in the corner, regardless of your distance. But normally, you see here, goes about, I don't know, 75% of the screen and covers a fairly wide area. So one thing to note about that, it's a good alternate combo ender if you're not willing to use the sword strike. So you can do whatever combo, doesn't really matter. And what you want to do is end in sweep, uppercut, arrow, and then back into it. Or maybe even just uppercut raw, it doesn't really matter. But one thing to note is you got to practice your timing on this one. But you can kind of end with your perfect charge sword swing for a good chunk of extra damage at the end of the combo. So I myself haven't practiced that much, honestly. I got to work on that myself. But that is a great alternate combo ender if you're not looking for the cinematic to bring you back mid-screen. And at the very least, say you're in this position in your foe's corner, or, you know, mid-screen where it would normally hit, you can always just like do this, tag out, and force them to deal with the fallout of the amount of just rocks falling and garbage filling up the screen. And once again, always lovely for, you know, high-low mix-ups and all that fun stuff. Now, to finish up the special section here, I just want to talk about level 3. So like most other level 3s, it's obviously an invincible move. And other than that, not too special. But the one thing it does have over most other people is the fact that simply it has a lot more range than other people's level 3s. So you can do it this far away and we're still going to crank it. So it eats up a lot more screen real estate than most of their level 3s. So that is fairly pretty decent, you know, and it's a fun little animation, obviously. It does bring you back mid-screen, just like the Sword Super, so do watch out for that. But generally, if you do hit someone with it, they're going to be near dead, if not already dead, so it's not too bad. Now, to briefly talk about her armor situation, because I did make a whole other video about that. Long story short, every move she has that uses a sword is armored. So we can use Stand Fierce Punch, the Sweep, the Launcher, either of the sword specials, obviously, even her Jumping Fierce Punch. And that's a pretty great situation because that is the only armored jumping normal in the game. Even Nemesis does not have an armored jumping normal. So if you fight people who are big on projectile spam, that's basically your way out because she simply doesn't care about that. If she's jumping, unless you jump at her with a faster move, she's going to win out. So other than that, that's pretty much all needs really said about that. All those big swings, you can take some solace in them that they are armored against light projectiles and light attacks only, other than the Fierce Punch special sword swing, so please keep that in mind. You're not fully invincible. But yeah, she can basically bully her way in with a lot of stuff, and there's very little, besides the heavy attacks, that can stop her. So what I'm going to show you next is how to reset your foe against their will in the corner after the bread and butter combo. Now, it doesn't have to be the bread and butter combo, but basically anything that ends with sweep into uppercut will work just fine. So just going to do the B&B here. So you see here, I ended with the spin, and that spiked them to the ground and forced their reset, and that was it. Like, there's no rolling, there's no getting up by their choice. So we're also going to set it here, so it's set on neutral recovery. So on neutral, they spike right downwards. We're going to have it set to up forward recovery. Same deal. So you see here, they even on up forward recovery, they still can't go over your head. So the point here is, after they land and you land, you're immediately going to go for that technique I showed you about that instant overhead earlier in the video here. And we're going to force them to block that instant overhead. So at that point, if it hits, great. And if not, if they try to block it, then what you're going to do here is tag in your foe and then go for a high-low mix-up. Captain America's probably not the best example, but any combo, if you don't want to burn a bar, you can go for an aerial instant overhead after that. And if they do try to tech upwards, they still have to block it, and that's free chip. And since they're blocking it, that's specifically the point you want to bring in your partner. So you can continue to dominate your aggressive space here and force them to keep blocking and have them submit to your mix-up options. So in closing, that's kind of everything I have to say about Monster Hunter. I did do more videos on her, and you'll find the link here at the end of the video in the end card here. So please check them out if you want some more info on both her armor and how the demon mode install works. So she's a very fun character. I have not played with her much. It seems to be a lot of her game plan is the best kind of simple in that you just kind of keep kind of forward with your caveman offense. You can just kind of jump forward with your Fierce Punch. And because it's armored, a lot of the traditional ways to stop such brain dead offense don't really stop it. So that's kind of really fun and simple. You know, sometimes you don't want to think as hard. And so she definitely provides that kind of play style. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Marvel.